It's good to be back in town with our kids. We've got practice today and tomorrow. We had two practices last weekend. Just kind of an update on what we've been doing. Obviously, we've been on the road recruiting. Recruiting goes dead after this weekend, so we'll be back and get a chance to really focus on our opponent. I was honored to be a part of Coach Beamer's induction in the College Football Hall of Fame. Thankful to be included. It was a pretty neat event and fun to be a part of. And we're obviously honored to be selected to go to the Military Bowl. It's in a great location for our fans. I hope that on the 31st we have a bunch of people that turn out to support our kids. We have a tremendous challenge in front of us with Cincinnati. They are good in all three phases of the game. We have not gone full bore into preparation for them yet. Obviously, we've been on the road. We've been a little bit into the maintenance phase of our bowl prep. You know, when you play on the 31st, I think you can break it down into really three phases. One is just maintaining your conditioning, getting kids back feeling well. And then you get into kind of, sharpening your skill set, all the while getting some good work for the young players, and then you get into game prep. So our kids have done a good job finishing up finals and getting their bodies feeling better and getting ready for this work this weekend.
All right, we'll skip the mics. Just raise your hand.
You mentioned getting work for the young guys. Do you just have the veterans sit out at some periods? Just go, hey, young guys, head out?
Yeah, last week, that's essentially what we did. We kept the older guys out there for about an hour, getting some good full-speed work, not a lot of crossover, and then let those guys go, and then kept the young guys out there, or the guys that hadn't played a lot, and really got some good work in for the second half of the practice. Today, we will still get those young guys some work, but get our older players back into the flow a little bit more in terms of having some crossover and kind of sharpening our tool set a little bit, trying to get back into game mode before we hit preparation mode.
Ricky Walker hasn't been invited to postseason game yet, Senior Bowl or any of those. Do you think he's being overlooked, or is he turning those down, or is it? What do you think kind of has been the issue for him?
Yeah, well, we'll see how it all shakes out. There's a lot of time left for all of those things in terms of guys accepting invites or declining invites. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't end up in one of them. There's obviously several of them now. I think he's definitely deserving of it. He's put on film some really good production and play, and I feel like when it all shakes out, I think it's going to work out. He's going to get a shot at one of those games and go play and do really well. And whoever takes him in, invites him in, is going to be happy they did.
Do you think he played two of his best games to kind of help you extend your season?
Well, I'm not sure. I think he played well when we needed him the most, absolutely. I don't know how it ranks in his other games, but certainly stepped up when this team needed him, as he's done all along with some young guys. Really kind of stopped being freshmen and kind of embraced their opportunity, and the last few weeks have been really productive.
Speaking about recruiting, I know you can't speak specifically about the kids, but in terms of where you are in building your reputation, your name with in-state coaches, how has that gone, and is it already established, or is it still a year-to-year where you're still building it?
Well, I think you're always continuing to build trust in in the region, and it helps over time. Kids come here and have a good experience. They tell other kids it's a good place to go, and I think we're going to end up, when it's all said and done, being very productive in this state this year, and we'll hopefully continue that in the future.
I know specifically you can't speak to the recruits, but it seems like you've had success in the 804, the Richmond area. What has been the response of coaches, programs, kids there towards you, and how important is that region?
Well, it's been great everywhere. I mean, we haven't gotten a bad response anywhere we've been. Certainly, Richmond is incredibly important to this program, has been for a long time, and will continue to be for the unforeseeable future, and making sure we're evaluating the right kids and targeting the right kids, I think, is important for us. And then ultimately showing them what Virginia Tech can do for them and their families for the next 40 years is a pretty powerful message.
And the last thing on recruiting, with UVA winning more, are they more of a factor, are you finding head-to-head, or has it not changed since your first year?
Well, I don't, they do what they do and we do what we do. Like, I'm not getting into whether they're a factor or not a factor. They evaluate and recruit players, and we do the same thing.
Well, understanding the fact that you always have to be selling the program to recruits, regardless of whether they're, guys that are going to sign in a few days or within a few years. When you have guys that have committed, say last year, that you're just trying to get to the finish line now, sort of babysit before they get there, and you have a season like this one where you struggled, maybe didn't do as well as you hoped you would have done, do you find yourself having to resell the program at all to some of these kids that maybe are still getting recruited by other programs?
No. Our kids have been fantastic through this deal. I think they all understood where we're at, and we tell them that, where we're at, where we're going. And I think we talked about this maybe our first year. Maybe Andy asked me about it, I'm not sure. But it seems like I recall us talking about the North Carolina game and us recruiting in North Carolina and playing at North Carolina and beating them and the effect that has on recruiting. And, yeah, certainly winning doesn't hurt. It helps. But this college selection should be about more than a game, a win, or a loss. It should be about a fit, a culture, a school that you want to be a part of, identifying with other people that you're going to school with. So all that being said, winning helps. But I think our guys understand that it's a much bigger thing than a win-loss record or the way the game turned out. And, and I think we do a good job of educating our guys about that we're recruiting, where we're at, and where we're going as a program.
How's Jeremy Black coming along? Is he making any progress? Or we haven't asked about that.
Yeah. Jeremy was one day away from returning back to football a couple weeks ago, and he had another injury to his other Achilles. So I will say this about Jeremy. If there's a kid that can handle that and come back from that, it's him. Obviously, it was disappointing. It was really another. Everybody searches for a reason as to why it happened, and there really is none. It was a stop short of saying a freak occurrence, but it was just a odd thing that happened. Very unlucky, very unfortunate. Jeremy's going to make it back. He won't be in the spring, but he'll be back in the summer and ready to go. It's not unprecedented that people have come back from two of these. Obviously it's not something that happens every day, but there have been guys that have gone on to good athletic careers that have had two. And, our entire team has been there with Jeremy through this. It's been a tough deal. But he's responded in a great manner. He has an unbelievable outlook on life, and we look forward to his recovery.
Is it more of a mental thing now to try? Because he knows what the physical aspect of it to try to kind of get. Because that's got to be just with the timing too.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he's about done with coming back from it, and then immediately starts it all over again. That you can imagine. That's quite a mental and emotional hurdle to overcome. And if it was anybody other than Jeremy, I'd be less positive about the outcome. But we see this kid, and I know y'all haven't seen much of him because he hasn't played. But we're around the kid every day, and we announced for one of our games. I announced to the team that we're going to put Jeremy. We don't usually keep our injured guys on the sidelines. Announced we're going to put him on the sidelines, and in a team meeting, and the whole team went bananas. That's the type of following he has. He's got a mature way of going about himself. In that young DB room, he's really looked up to, and he's just got a great presence about him, and he'll be back.
Do you have any kids that haven't played this year that
mean, I don't think so. They haven't played any? I don't think so.
And do you have anybody that you're holding out because of where they are on the game cusp? In other words,
Yeah.
not wanting-
Yeah, we'll have the guys that have played in 4 games won't play.
Travis? This team kept a lot of 2 significant streaks in the last couple of weeks of the season. You alluded to it on the teleconference a little bit last week, the difference between 6 and 7 and 7 and 6. I know the kids are aware of it. You guys address it and bring it up with them now.
We will. We haven't talked about it much yet. We just haven't been in that scenario. We don't play till the 31st, so there's no sense in getting them all worked up yet. Like, we're in maintenance mode, and then we'll enter into true preparation. But it certainly will be something. It's something that I'm sure our guys are already aware of, and that we will hit upon and talk about, and I'm sure it'll be part of the reason why that our kids will prepare and get ready to go play.
Coach, how might bowl preparation be a little different compared to previous years, whether it's because of how the calendar falls or the status of your roster or the number of young guys on your team? How might it be different this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the date of the game. We'll have this week or this coming week to really get into good work, and then we'll give the kids a few days off over Christmas. Not something I've done before. We've always been traveling or not had enough time to give those guys a couple days off. So we'll give those guys a couple days off over the Christmas break and then get started back on the 26th. So I think our kids are appreciative of it. They need a little reset button. I felt strongly that if the opportunity presented itself for us to let them go home over Christmas, that we were going to do it, and it did. So it's not something that I've been a part of before, but I think the kids are excited about it.
One more, Andy.
We had talked a lot earlier before the season that you would never had to go to a backup quarterback in the middle of the season.
Yeah, you guys jinxed us. Thanks.
Going to Willis, how do you feel like he handled that, and what kind of growth have you seen from him over the course of the season?
Oh, I've been really proud of him. I think he's continued to work hard. And, it's easy to work hard when you're the starter. It's hard to work hard when you're the backup. And but you never know. You are one play away from going into a contested game. And for Ryan to continue to battle and continue to get better and be prepared. The game that he came in and was productive. I think speaks volumes about him. I'm proud of how he's handled it. And and he has improved as the season's gone along. Continues to try and do what we're asking him to do. You guys are good. Pete, we got time. We ain't got nothing else going on. So. There's 30 recruits on campus right now, but I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Norm.
With what Vinny Mihota has had to go through, just trying to get back to 100%, struggling to do that,
Mm-hmm.
playing some valuable reps at times, and getting hurt. I mean, is it tough to sort of look at this season as fulfilling for him because he had so many high expectations coming back, and maybe there's some disappointment there for him that you've seen, because he certainly doesn't show it to us, but I don't know if there's some that you've seen.
I have not seen that from Vinny. I haven't seen it since he's been here. The 2016 season, the kid played with all kinds of issues and just continued to battle away. So I haven't seen anything other than a desire to help this football team play as hard and as good as he can. I'm sure there's a part of him that wishes he could have been a little bit healthier. We all wish that. We want those kids to have success. But I think there's a lot for him to be proud of, too. The example he set, what he allowed this football team to do, what he helped do over the last couple weeks of the season, I think is pretty special personally. And he has every right to be very proud about that.
Thank you, Coach.
You got one?
I'm good, Coach. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
What do you do this time of year? And Coach said, some of the veterans are kind of sitting out resting a little bit. Are you doing the mental reps? Are you starting to study the opponent? What's going on for you?
First of all, just finishing up finals. Virginia Tech's a good school. Can't let that slip away at the end. So the past week, we've been focusing more on school than on football. But now that finals are over, our bodies are feeling better. We've been lifting every day, getting some running in. And we're going to turn our attention to Cincinnati. going to do everything we can to send our seniors out on a good note and have a winning season.
Coach mentioned taking a break for the holidays, or
Mhm.
are you going home? Is that too far? What are your
I'm flying home. Going back to Kansas City to be with my family. We get 3 days, then we report back in D.C. It's kind of weird how we're doing it this year. Just we're all kind of reporting individually. So, I mean, we can't let that be a distraction. We're going to go home, enjoy time with our family, and get ready for the bowl game. Yeah.
I know you're kind of hectic week to week and everything, but after the season finishes, do you kind of step back for a moment and kind of look at the whirlwind that it was for you going from the backup to the starter and fighting to get the bowl game and everything like that? Do you reflect at all on how the season went?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good to step back and reflect. I think you see things that weren't as apparent in the moment. It's like life. You just got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of things. I don't know. When we're in week-to-week stuff, you can get caught up in little things. But it's been nice to have a little break, get our bodies under us, get our minds right, and we still got some time until the bowl game. A lot of preparation ahead of us, and we're going to be ready to go.
When you step back and then look at your season, what do you see? I mean, is there something that you wish you would have seen earlier, or is it just a big picture type thing?
That's tough. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we didn't have the season we wanted to have, but we were young, saw a lot of improvements, a lot of young guys step up. We had a good group of seniors kind of show us the way, and I wish we could have been more productive at times, but I mean, it's football. There's a winner and loser in every game, and sometimes the ball doesn't fall your way.
I remember when you first took the starting job, and a lot of your teammates were talking about how amped up you are on the field sometimes, and you even talked about it yourself. Do you feel like as the weeks have gone by and you got more and more comfortable in that role, you're maybe a little bit less, I don't know what the word is, we'll use amped up, I guess, to for lack of a better term, on the field in between plays and get guys in the huddle and in and out of the huddle and things like that, or is that just take it or leave it, that's who you are?
I mean, there's a confidence level that goes with, like, energy level, I feel like. I mean, in certain times you need to be even keeled, and sometimes you got to get the guys going. Really depends on the situation. It's pretty apparent I got a passion for this game. Every time I step onto the field, I feel blessed. I'm lucky. Playing Division I football, it's pretty freaking cool what we're doing out here. So I don't take any moments for granted. I'm going to make the most out of every opportunity, and if I get excited, I get excited. Just can't let it be a distraction.
Anybody else, Dave?
Ryan, the Military Bowl last year, freezing cold. What's the coldest game you've ever played in, and how do you prepare knowing that it could be another one of those type of extreme cold weather games, to make sure that doesn't affect you?
I've played in a bunch of cold games. I think my freshman year against K-State, the field was literally frozen over as ice. It rained the day before. I mean, bring on the weather to our advantage. It doesn't bother me, and I hope it doesn't bother my teammates, and whatever happens, happens.
One more, Mike. Go ahead, Dave.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, does that change your preparation ahead of time?
No.
Anything specific?
No, it doesn't change anything.
anything change in your outlook of, like, when you came here and you didn't win the starting job and you kind of accepted your role and prepared and all that? The way you've played now going through this game into the spring, does anything change in your outlook in terms of what you think you can accomplish at your time at Tech?
I've always had the outlook, I want to be the guy on the field. I don't think anyone ever wants to settle as being a backup. You always want to push, be the best player you can be. I mean, it's a lot more fun on the field than on the sideline, I can tell you that much. I just got to keep the ball rolling in the spring. I think I've done some things productive, and, I'm kind of an all-in guy. Whatever coaches want to do, they're going to do. Who's ever going to put us in the best position to have success is going to be on the field. And if that's me, great. If that's someone else, it's for the team. I get it. But I'm going to do everything in my power not to lose the spot I'm in right now.
One more.
Ryan, looking big picture, how valuable is this time that you guys are spending together, even with the seniors and with the younger guys, especially looking ahead to next year, how this team will grow? How valuable is this extra time of practice?
it's extremely valuable. We got a great group of seniors. We got some great leaders. They've been here before. Young guys still got ways to go, and leadership can do nothing but help that. So, I mean, I love these guys. I've been with them for a while. We're soaking up every extra moment we can with them, and just happy to be here.
What Coach said, some of the veterans kind of take it a little easier in practice this time as you guys are kind of wrestling to get your bodies back. What have you been doing? Do you study any extra film, or is it just about getting healthy? How have you been spending your time?
Yeah, pretty much just getting healthy. You know, doing extra treatment for the nagging injuries and just pretty much resting. You know, we pretty much just lifted and ran all week. You know, and we did just enough. You know, we didn't do too much, and you know, I feel pretty good.
Questions for Reggie?
Never got to talk with you about it after the UVA game, but did you get a chance to talk with your brother or get some final bragging rights on that whole situation? You guys never really liked that.
Yeah, he actually was at the game, and he was watching it, and he had his little jacket on, his Letterman jacket, and you know, after the game, you know, I saw his face. He was kind of mad, but then, you know, it's all love and brotherly love, and you know, I told him that, you know, I wasn't the class I was going to lose to y'all, you know, so it was a great feeling, great win. You know, it's still all love over here, so.
Does it mean a little extra considering, I mean, he's a team captain,
Right,
late in
right.
his career, and you are too.
Right. I mean, shoot. I mean, it just speaks for itself. 15 years speaks for itself. I mean, if I feel like if they didn't beat us this year, they're not gonna do it no time soon. So.
Did you guys have much of a sibling rivalry growing up? I mean, I know mine was different just because
Right.
you
Yeah.
said something. I mean,
Nah, not really. Whenever he was at UVA, you know, I was a UVA fan going to the games. You know, like my freshman and sophomore year before recruiting started heating up. But it really wasn't no hate or no rivalry. You know, just a true support system, big brother to little brother relationship. So I wouldn't say it was none of that.
Does Mondo hold it over you guys' head that he's going to West Point?
Nah, not yet. Maybe whenever he gets to the academy next year. You know, right now he's at the prep school, but I'm pretty sure he will in the future.
Questions for Reggie?
Any of the young guys that we haven't seen yet kind of step out and practice team that you kind of seen? I don't know if you're able to kind of get a watch. You stayed over the weekend to practice watch. Anybody kind of jumping out that you think has a bright future?
I stayed for a little bit, and I saw, you know, guys was flying around making plays. You know, I can't think of one on the top of my head, you know, because whenever I'm out there, I'm watching D-line. So, like, guys like Zion, Becton, you know, those guys like that. Those are pretty much the guys that stood out to me.
Questions for Reggie?
A couple people were asking Ryan about possibility of playing in the freezing cold because of the date and the location.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that kind of a game?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, you know, but now I realize it's 31st of December up there in that area, a noon kickoff. So it's gonna be cold, but I mean, there's nothing that we're not used to. You know, we still have a job to acquire to come out with a win. But yeah, cold is I'm pretty sure it's gonna be cold up there.
Travis. Hey, Reggie, I'm just curious how you would assess your year personally and individually. I know you faced a lot of double teams.
Yeah.
Probably felt like you got held on too. Maybe didn't have great numbers, but
Right.
you feel like you still did the little things to help your team win.
Yeah, you know, personally, you know, I was banged up the first half of the season, and you know, towards the end, I started getting healthy and I started feeling better. You know, teams was definitely, you know, double teaming or sliding to me, worrying about me, you know, because no more Tim Settle and guys like that. But I would say, I mean, if you turn the film on, you know, you'll see it. But I feel like my second half of the season made up for a lot. You know, I think as of now I have, you know, 10.5 TFLs, you know, which is pretty good for, you know, for me and getting double and all that. But I just feel like after the Georgia Tech game, guys just had to step up and turn up a notch. So that's pretty much how I feel.
Coach said they've had to change kind of the bowl prep versus past years because of the way the recruiting schedule's changed, you know, with the practice schedule.
Okay.
Have you noticed that, like the starting and stopping and a little more?
I think so. We actually only had two practices so far. In the past years, by now we would probably have like 4 or 5 already. So it's more time off, and we definitely need it. I think the recruiting, is important to us, and that's definitely a key factor to us in our future. I'm excited to have these guys here in town this weekend, and I'm definitely looking forward to meeting them.
But
John.
does the starting and stopping, do you have to change your approach when you, 2 practices a week off?
Nah. It's you kind of feel better. When you practice for a day or two, then you get a week off, and you come back and it's fresh compared to every day. And when your body's tired and wore down, and you actually can, go out there and fly around and have a little bounce with you. I think the starting and stopping isn't a problem.
John.
I know you guys haven't game planned yet, but are you impressed with Cincinnati? What have you seen?
Yeah. I saw a little bit of them. I think the quarterback's a freshman, I believe. Running back's young also. He likes to run a lot, but that's a great coaching staff up there. It's a great team. I think they have 10 wins already. And I don't care what division you're in, what conference. 10 wins is hard to do. So hats off to them, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing them.
I think when C.J. Rivas got promoted to the
Oh yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, everybody from that freshman dorm room has been on the active NFL roster
Yep.
at this point.
Everybody in 2060 is on the roster. You got Isaiah Ford, Cam Phillips was active for a couple weeks. Of course, you got Greg and Terrell, and CJ just got promoted a couple weeks ago.
Is
So
that amazing to you? Think back and
yeah, man, that's just what we was talking about in the dorms, late night, staying up doing push-ups or talking junk about high school, competing. That's the stuff that we do. And guys' dreams is right there unfolding in front of them, and hopefully I'll be next.
That was what I wanted to ask you about in terms of what's next for you, and obviously you have another game to play.
Right.
Have you heard from any showcase games, and what are the next steps for you?
Yeah. After the bowl game, I'll be heading down to Tampa to go train. I got invited to the NFLPA Bowl. The East-West game is going to get back with me soon, but just excited for this next chapter. Getting ready to, hopefully fulfill my dream and just get ready for the next couple of months. Just keep my head down and keep working.
All right, Travis.
Just real quick, the difference between 7 and 6 and 6 and 7. None of you guys were around last time there was a losing record around here.
Right.
As one of the leaders, is that something you bring out with these young guys?
Yeah, I think that's important to this team and this program and this tradition. Coach Fuente actually mentioned that I think at our last practice, and I haven't really thought about that, but it definitely is a big difference from 6 and 7 and 7 and 6. It's just like going 9 and 4 or 10 and 4. One game matters at this level, especially in the ACC. That's a big difference. That just shows you the kind of people we have on this team. How guys just keep battling and fighting. Because we had a long year. From injuries to almost anything you want to name it. Pretty much Virginia Tech happened. So finishing off this season 7-6, I would say would be definitely a season I won't forget.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Coach was explaining the schedule a little bit and how, you guys the veterans aren't practicing full go. What have the last week and a half, what have you been doing? What's it been like for you?
It's been a little bit, I want to say a little bit slight on, like you said, the veterans, but the same mentality in practice, helping young guns out, the older guys, just making sure technique, their eyes in the right place, just the basic details and the things we have to do to win a game we've been doing still at this point.
Coach Fuente was in here telling us about Jeremy Webb injuring his other Achilles. How bad do you feel for a guy like that who's so close to coming back?
Yeah, that's the worst. When I found out the news, it was just like my whole mood changed because, of course, expecting him coming back and then him being my brother is just like, damn, he going to do another like tragedy again. It's just the opposite ankle. So now it's just the worst thing that could possibly happen to somebody that's coming back from an injury like that to happen to the other side. So just been talking to him, just telling him to keep his head up. We're always going to be here. When he does come back and return, it's going to be a great thing for everybody.
Floyd was saying he's sort of been an upbeat guy through this whole process. Is that your take on him too?
Yeah, he, of course, that was a downfall, but he already started just sitting there watching film from our games from this year, and also just treatment on those Achilles. So he's going to be prepared for anything that comes his way.
We talked so much about the winning streak and then the bowl streak. The winning record, having that each year, is that a different kind of thing, or is that the same kind of importance level for you guys to continue?
It's the same. Nothing ever is going to change, I don't believe. That streak is it's a tradition. Same with the UVA and the bowl. So our goal is just to lock down and go into the bowl game to get another W for these seniors.
Anyone else for Reggie?
Have you taken any time yet to look at Cincinnati, or do you save that for a little later down the line?
Yeah, of course, at home I'll just put a couple of games in on YouTube, just watch some film, see what we're getting into. Of course, it's a great team, 10 wins, so we're just prepared to go in and have a good fight.
As a secondary, what are you getting into? What do you see from them?
Great receivers, mobile quarterback, also can throw the ball. So it's just going to be a test for both of us, but we're prepared. I know they'll be prepared. So.
Obviously a Northern Virginia guy, this bowl is not that far away from it. Is your family happy that it's close by?
Yeah.
Big group there?
Well, I'm not a Novo anymore. My parents just moved to Georgia, so it's going to be a trip for them now. So.
Do you have any military in your family?
My father. Yeah, my father was in the military, and then of course my mom had me, and then my pops just came back home and kicked it with the fam.
Does that make this mean a little more because of the game? Or?
Of course, but at the same time, it's just I know what I have to do in the game, and my father knows what me and my team have to do in the game, so he's prepared to see us get a dub out there.
You have Christmas off this year, Coach said.
Yes,
How
sir.
excited was the team to hear that? And when's the last time you've had Christmas?
Shoot, I was real happy when I heard that. So I haven't been to Christmas in 3 years, so being able to go back home with my family and see everybody, especially from my family in Georgia, it's gonna be a great feeling.
Do you think that does make a difference when a team kind of has that? They can kind of recharge
Uh-huh.
right before?
Yeah, a big difference. Be able to go home and see family, get comfortable, and then also once you leave and come back with your family again, just get prepared to have a brutal fight.
Thanks, Reggie.
No problem.
Coach was saying that the veterans are kind of taking it easy here for a week and a half, while the younger guys play. What's this time been like for you? How have you been spending it?
I've just been relaxing, trying to get my body back right, trying to feel, good again, because all the bumps and bruises that happened during the season, take a toll on everybody's body. So I think just having this week and a half to kind of, sit back and relax, kind of, get our minds right, get our, body right, it'll help us a lot coming up.
I don't know if we talked to you after the UVA game or the Marshall game, but how big of sort of an exhale of relief was it to extend both the bowl streak and the UVA streak and not be that class where it ended?
It means a lot. I mean, I don't even know what happened. I still don't know what happened on that last play UVA. I mean, I've seen highlights of it, but I couldn't watch. I had my back turned towards the play, and everybody started running on the field, and so it's looks like we won. And so that was a big relief. And then extending the bowl streak was also a big relief too against Marshall. They're a good team, so beating them the way we did to extend the bowl streak was big time. So good deal.
Questions for Kyle?
What's the biggest accomplishment? We talk about the Virginia streak and the bowl streak, losing your starting quarterback, some of the things that happened in the offseason. When you think about how kind of tumultuous this year was, how do you look at it in terms of how big an accomplishment some of those things are?
I think the way that this year turned out obviously isn't what we had hoped or what we planned, but with everything that's happened, with all the stuff that's gone on this year in the program, I'm just happy to see the guys we fought and persevered through a ton of adversity. It's kind of to extend those 2 streaks and to keep on the tradition of this program. I'm happy to see it keep on going, and hopefully these past few weeks have kind of set the standard for these young guys and taught them how to work hard and fight through stuff when adversity hits them later on in their later careers.
We talk so much about Virginia streak, bowl streak. Having winning records for for all those years in a row. Does that rise to the same level, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never want to have a losing record. Going 7-6 feels a lot different than going 6-7. I mean, I've never had a losing record like in all the years I've played football, especially here. So I'm not going to go out on a losing record. That's for sure. So.
You've played every position on the line, and
Mm.
you assume you've played next to pretty much everybody on the roster. What do you think of these young guys on offensive line, and kind of what do you think the future of that room is going to be like?
They're impressive, Lasita Smith, he's the guy behind me right now, but he's a big physical dude. So I think once he, just kind of gets older and starts learning more stuff, he's going to be a great player here. Christian Darisaw, he's already a great player. I mean, he's a freshman All-American. He knows his stuff. He's smart. It's just impressive. And then Zach Hoyt, he's getting better every day. Silas Danzy's getting better every day. So I think the future for this offensive line is going to be great.
Kyle, given how hard you guys had to work to even become bowl eligible, how grateful/valuable are these extra weeks especially with your senior teammates?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, going to that UVA game, like we didn't really know. That could have been our last week, So it's awesome being around this team, for another month. And I'm just really grateful, really lucky to have these guys and get to spend another holiday season with them.
We joke a little bit about how long you've been here, but you've accomplished a ton, obviously. Does it feel weird at all, the sense that coming up it will be the end of your time as a Virginia Tech student?
Yeah, it does feel weird. I mean, I turned in my last assignment last week. I was just kind of sitting there. I was like, man, this is it. Everything's coming to an end, but it's bittersweet. I'm ready to kind of move on, but I love it here, and there's always gonna have a special place in my heart. So. Yeah.
You have obviously been through some injuries and dealing with a lot of things. The guy sitting out in the waiting room up there is too, Vinny. I know you guys, I think you at one point talked about spending a lot of time in the training room with him. You guys were kind of partners. You'd see each other in there all the time. Can you sort of, are you guys sort of on the same brainwave as far as what you guys have had to go through to get to this point? And does a part of you sort of, you've been able to sort of, I know everybody plays with pain at this stage in their career, but does a part of you sort of empathize with what he's had to go through trying to get back to 100%?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having injuries like Vinny and I have had over the years, it's not an easy thing by any means to come back from. And then Vinny, he had his two shoulders against Clemson, and then he had the injury against Pittsburgh last year. And those are big injuries, and it's not every day you see somebody come back in less than a year from stuff like that. And for him to be playing at the level that he's playing, it's just impressive, And I definitely know what he's going through. It's physical, but it's also mental. So it's just kind of getting back onto your same confidence level and feeling good again is a major part of it. So I know what he's going through. Yeah.
It's early on in your career. You had shoulder
Mhm.
too, right?
Yeah. I had a shoulder issue early on in my career, and just kind of the confidence of just striking your hands again, and kind of even small things like bench pressing. You always feel a little bit tentative about it, so you don't want to go at it for full force. But once you do, and once you kind of feel like you're back to normal, it kind of your confidence slowly grows back, and then you feel good again. So. Yeah.
You talk about these surgeries and stuff so matter-of-factly, but I've never gone through a surgery or anything like that. What is that like going into that process? Is it just kind of understood as a football player that kind of stuff happens?
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens during football. It's out of your control. But back when I had my surgery, I was nervous. I mean, you're always gonna be nervous going into something. But I think just having the right mindset when you come out of it, just getting ready to work and getting ready to rehab and try to do everything to come back as soon as you can for the team is the number one thing. So I think having a good mindset beforehand will help you out in the future.
All right.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Coach, you mentioned the veterans are doing a little less practice work for a week and a half here, kind of resting your bodies and all. What's it been like for you? What have you been doing?
We've been doing a lot more cardio and just back to basic drill work. Not too much, contact between good on good guys, but just mainly drill work and getting our bodies feeling right and getting kind of back to how we felt towards the beginning of the season.
And when you look at this season and kind of coming back from the injury and how that slowed you and everything, do you feel like this was a satisfying year, or are you still kind of pushing for a better kind of cap to it?
I mean, we're definitely pushing to come out on top after this one, but I'm really proud of our guys and how we responded the last 2 weeks, getting to, or 2 games, I should say, getting back to a bowl game and extending those 2 streaks. But I mean, it's definitely been a good year, and you know, it's had its ups and downs, but it's been a really good journey this year, and I'm definitely satisfied with how we played.
How about for you personally?
Personally, you know, the start of the season, I was still a little banged up, and getting through that and getting to a point where I could start a couple games and really make some solid contributions has been, you know, everything I could ask for with the condition I started the season in.
You can consult much with your brother about what he's going through, and he's so young, I mean, as far as the process here. And do you talk with him at all about how much easier he has it because he's got you to lean on as far as, you know, how to get through stuff, things like that? Or do you not consult with him much about stuff? You kind of let him do his own thing?
No, he moved in with me over this past summer before his first season, and you know, this whole thing of college football can be really frustrating, especially when you're not, you know, one of those guys that comes in and plays right away. You know, like for me especially, you know, I didn't really start making or significant playing time until my third year, and that's how it is with a lot of guys, you know, and helping him through that, like look, you know, you're not going to be the guy overnight in a lot of occasions, so helping with his patience and through things here and there, and just kind of getting him day by day, getting through it. But I definitely think I've helped him.
Do you have that kind of relationship with him where he'll take that advice, or is he just like, just shut the hell up?
No, me and him have a really good relationship. He listens to me for the most part, and you know, he'll do his own. He'll make his own mistakes, but I definitely try to keep him on the right path.
What did you get your degree in?
Mathematics.
Do you have post-graduation plans? I don't know if you're going to try to continue to pursue football with all the injuries and stuff you've had, but do you have anything kind of mapped out once you're done here?
We got some options on the table outside of football, but and I did an internship this summer with Morgan Stanley, and I could go back to doing them with some financial advising type of situations, or you know, something similar in that field of just financial world.
You always been a math guy?
I came in as a math major with the hopes to get an engineering degree, and I transferred to the School of Engineering for 2 years, and I went back to math after that. It was getting a little rough.
Did you like math in high school and then even when you were younger?
Yeah, I've always been good at math. I don't know if I'd necessarily say I like math, but I've always been really good at it and had a knack for it. So.
Many math majors on this team right now.
Just me?
Is there a fear that if you get hooked up with Morgan Stanley or something like that, they're going to make you cut the hair?
I actually am gonna cut it in the new year. Not forced by anyone, but just gonna cut it because, you know, time to grow up and.
Breaking news, man.
Yeah, no, you know, the hair works for college, and you know, it's definitely time to grow up and cut it.
How long have you had it long with that?
I've cut my hair short twice in my life. Once in 7th grade, once in my junior year, and every other time it's been long.
Is this
So
gonna be painful?
yeah, it's gonna be different.
Is there some frustration at all from you that when you come in to talk to us, you have to talk about injuries so much? Because and I get it; it's part of your career. You are probably proud of the fact, and rightfully so, that you've gotten to the finish line and you're still a factor. But I know you'd like to be playing more. You probably would have liked this season to go differently than what you had personally. I mean, from a personal standpoint, is it frustrating? Or are you a guy that kind of sees the big picture with the injury thing and tries to, you know, take it in stride and roll with it?
Yeah, you know, like it or not, you know, it's been a part of my career, and you know, being able to bounce back from those things, from those tough times, is definitely something I'm proud of. So I wouldn't say I'm ever frustrated when people ask me about it, especially you guys. But definitely proud of how I've responded and getting back to, you know, playing and contributing to this team through those injuries, and I'm just very grateful that I got to finish it out instead of, you know, in the stands.
But Coach Foster mentioned that something to the effect that you might hold a record for the guy that's had the most surgery since you've been a few weeks ago. Is there one that's been more of a pain in the ass to try to overcome than any of the others?
Yeah, the knee, the ACL was definitely the worst, and I had never had anything like it, you know, injury-wise, and cause it was just so debilitating. You know, I couldn't walk or do anything on my own for months, really. And you get your shoulder, you know, you're still up and about, you know, grabbing stuff, operating the world with one hand, but you know, you're still walking around doing stuff for yourself. But with the knee, I mean, it was the most physically and mentally taxing of the bunch.
Was part of the knee issue also the fact that you knew you had a timetable in mind, you had to get back in such a short
Yeah, I
amount of
mean,
time?
it was the longest recovery for a surgery I've had, and I knew, you know, I got this surgery in December, and camp starts in end of July, so you know, that's what you got. So.
You talked so much about the Virginia streak and the bowl streak. The winning record streak, is that in the same kind of area for you guys? Is it important?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a losing season, but you know, definitely for Virginia Tech, that's not part of what we do. You know, we didn't just have a 25-year bowl streak. We had a 25-year winning streak, and it's kind of one and the same, and what we expect to do every year.
Do you have any family connections with military service?
Yeah, a couple of my uncles were in the military, our great uncles, but it's not too heavily in there.
You feel good to get final bragging rights from your brother that went to UVA?
Yeah, you know, I was never too worried, but you know, what happens down the line, I always hope Virginia Tech wins, but no matter how many times UVA wins, you know, I will always be able to say that I never lost to UVA, and Anthony never beat Virginia Tech. So that's what I can control. What ended up happening, you know.
All right. Thanks, Vinny.
See you guys.